This is Dragon Videos. I hope y'all are doing well. And since we have the remainder of Season 2 of Helluva Boss going on, I thought it'd be best to talk about the character arcs of each of these wonderful characters, as well as just see of how far they've come since Season 1 till now. I'm going to do separate videos starting with Blitz, our main lead, mostly because it'll take a while to go through and break down all of them. So, I'm going to discuss more about Blitz, our beloved hero, and how this is going to turn out. Without further ado, let's begin. So, when we're first introduced to Blitz in Season 1, he's an iffy kind of character. On the one hand, he's okay with how he handles his customers and his business altogether, putting on a term of professionalism whenever possible. However, there are some moments where he's not okay, going as far as bullying Moxie, well, verbally abusing him anyway, stalking him and Millie when they're having their dates, babying Luna, and of course saying his swear words left and right and pretending he doesn't give a darn about anyone. But things take an interesting turns whenever we are introduced to him in Verosica, and then we finally get to the tail end of Season 1 with Truth Seekers and Aussies. There we learned of his more vulnerable side and the issues of him wanting to have a relationship with other people, and Stolas just being that ideal person he admires and looks into the most, despite of how he becomes a bit cold to Stolas at the beginning of the season. And it definitely left some of us thinking of where this relationship was going to go and what sort of skeletons Blitz had that made him so popular, as we saw in episode 8, Queen Bee. When you get to Season 2, though, you get to see him in a more sympathetic light. You learn more about his past and his relationships and the source of his insecurities. I guess you could sort of say it all began in his childhood, where his father wanted to use him as a playmate for Stolas for the Garwishas, and he wasn't exactly totally thrilled at the idea of being with Stolas at the time. But as they played on, they seemed to get along pretty well, and Blitz seemed comfortable enough to share his dreams with the kid. And so it was revealed that Blitz, at a very young age, was always very determined and ambitious. He wanted nothing more than to make a change for himself and make a name of his own, which is even admirable up until now. But then, of course, you learn about his circus accident, and I'm pretty sure his father was the source of all his misery and pain in regards to the misfortune that he had with Fizzarali. True, he was the one who caused the accident by pushing someone with candles, but you could sort of say that it was Buxo's fault that he was the one who gave him the matches in the first place. So, putting that in, he begins to develop more of an insecurities to his relationships, believing that no one legitimately loves him. And this also results in his breakup with Barbie, whatever caused that to happen. And so, little by little, the more we get to know about his character, the more he begins to take on a more sadder light. Even his viewpoint with Stolas changes in Season 2, mostly with Western energy. This is where he sees Stolas at his weakest, realizing that Stolas is not as strong of a Goetia than Blitz had originally thought. This allows him to take some time to process this and tries to appreciate Stolas for who he is. Not completely, but he begins to kind of see another side to Stolas that he's never seen before. And this takes on a bigger turn when he goes into Apology Tour with learning to make peace with Arasaka. And here's probably one of his best lines in the entire show.
You're right. I actually am, sorry. I don't want to be this way. Not forever.
What makes this scene so powerful is the fact that he's finally admitting that he really messed up and he just needs to work on himself a bit more, as some fans have actually pointed out. What also makes it powerful is the fact that he's admitting that he's the one at fault in the relationships he's messed up with, and he's just broken. But he doesn't want to feel that way for long. It's a hard time for him to admit things, and it's going to be a long road ahead of him, but at least he's just taking the first steps to actually healing, as well as improving his relationships with not just Stolas, but everyone that he truly cares about. And shame on me, I should have realized it in the latest short, the short number 3, Wee Boo Boo, because if you notice, Blitz hasn't been going off with Melly in terms of watching a play with Moxie, which is something akin to Les Miserables. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name here, but that's definitely the play that they're basing it off of. And I'm pretty sure that while Blitz wasn't a big fan of it, he would have been down to tagging along with Moxie and Millie with whatever they're doing, just so he wouldn't feel left out. But considering the fact that he is doing this for, well, this is still for work, but if you think about it, he hasn't really paid much attention, or he could have scraped it off easily because it was less of a job for him to deal with. So, in a lot of ways, this also shows some major growth in his character, too. So, that's the information of the growth I got so far. Hopefully, the remainder of Season 2 or Ghost Steppers will roll in, so I would maintain and update this video later on in the future. But stay tuned, I'm going to go through more of the Helluva Boss character arcs and see what we've got so far. This is Dragon Videos signing off, and be ready for some Halloween month.